Live. We're live. What's going on, D-bags? Hope you guys are doing well. My name is Darren Rita, and I'm back here again with, yes, another episode of the Detox Podcast. Why am I switching up the intro every time? I don't know. Sometimes I get flustered. Sometimes I do that. It is what it is. Got to let your personality shine. That's what they tell me, at least. But what's going on here today? I'm going to be sitting down with another fantastic guest. I'll be booking the best guests here for you guys. It's only the best, most stellar individuals get to be here on Detox. People that I really want to get to know, people that I want you guys to get to know. So I'm really looking forward to introducing you guys to my guest this week. But before we get into all that, I do got to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel, because if you're new here, we do music, podcasts, and comedy, and we're trying to hit 1,000 subs before the 2-year anniversary of our show, which is like going to be at 104 episodes or something like that, and we're at 88. So you guys do the math. I'm not great at math, so you guys do that. I don't have the time for that right now. But before I introduce my guest to you guys, I got to talk to you guys a little bit about car insurance. These days, it seems as if we're able to do more and more from home. So while you're at home, why aren't you saving money on your car insurance? Your hometown agency, Kenosha Auto Insurance, has specialized for years in simple, hassle-free car insurance using the latest and touch-free technology to help you and your family get the best rates. So what are you waiting for? Give them a call today at 262-448-4141. That is 448-4141. The website is kenoshains.com. It should be right here on the screen. And one last time, that's 262-448-4141. Shout out to Kenosha Auto Insurance for sponsoring this episode of Detox, episode 88. My goodness, we're getting up there. Now, with all that out of the way, all that said and done, I'm excited to introduce you guys and for myself to get to know my guest this week. He's a Division III hooper over at MSOE and a big supporter and friend of the show. So let's give a wet Detox welcome to my guy, Steve Dillard. What's happening, Steve? How are you?
Blacking.
How are you, man?
Life is great in the big city.
I'm liking. I can see the view behind you. You've got the skyscraper back there.
Downtown Milwaukee, baby.
What building is that? Do you know off the top of your head?
That's one of the apartment buildings. It's Juno Towers.
Holy shit! Kids live in that? Like students?
Yeah, kids, families, whoever.
Holy cow! That's incredible, dog. Well, I want to say first, congrats on how's the season going? Is it over yet?
Yeah, we lost in the first round of our conference tournament.
Okay, I thought I saw something about that. I didn't want to bring up the L, so I'm sorry about that. But congrats on finishing the season out. You know, you're in good health.
Yeah.
What first off, for people that don't know, a lot of people look at MSOE as, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people. I know I used to look at MSOE as a school that didn't really care about athletics. Because they're such a prestigious academic school, you know, not at a diss to their athletics. But how has it been, were you recruited by them? How is the whole process of choosing MSOE? How was that whole situation for you?
Yeah, so originally I wanted to go to Platteville or Stevens Point because that's who was on me early on. Beloit College obviously was on me all the time because I'm, a hometown kid. And I told the head coach, it's like, hey, you guys have nothing to offer for me. No engineering, nothing that would make me money in the future. So he actually called the head coach of Beloit, called the head coach of MSOE, and, the rest is history. I ended up here.
That's incredible. So they wanted you over at Beloit, and
yeah,
and he was willing to make that call to kind of help you get to MSOE, even after you were
super sincere guy.
That's incredible, man.
College is super sincere guy. And I've been at that gym since I was like 12.
Wow.
So I know guys and know all the facilities and all that. So for them to do that for me it's a really good gesture.
Yeah, shout out to them, man. That's incredible. You don't see that often, dude. That's awesome. So when you were finishing your days in high school sports and playing basketball and whatnot, was it always in the plan to try and play, or was it like, if I can?
Always.
Cool? Always. Okay, cool.
I was watching Wisconsin when they had that super deep March Madness run in the championship. I was like, I want to do something like that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a D1 athlete, so any college that fit me academically was in the picture.
That's cool. I mean, it's really cool you were able to find your own lane too. Just the way you got there is really cool, and seems like a perfect fit for you with the engineering and MSOE being such a great school for that, and then being able to hoop on as well is incredible.
it's a blessing, man. And I think an added bonus that you wouldn't get for most schools is I'm in downtown Milwaukee. So if I was performing where the Bucks play, I am a 4 minute walk from that.
That's incredible. That is
It's
really awesome.
super convenient.
Do you guys get? I forget. I mean, well, I know it's probably a little weird right now with COVID. But I have some friends that go to UW Milwaukee, and they get like discounted tickets whenever they don't sell all the tickets to Bucks games.
I still get those.
Oh,
I could have
cool.
gone to the Bucks game a few days ago for $20.
Oh, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That's
MSOE plugs you with that kind of thing because it
wow.
is so serious and painful school to go through academically. They gotta put a bone somewhere.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? They got to make it worth the struggle that you're enduring. You know what's crazy about Milwaukee is with Giannis winning the All-Star MVP, and actually a DJ from Milwaukee. She was just on the news, and she actually went down and was like DJing at the All-Star weekend. Her name's DJ Shauna. She's like from Milwaukee, and it was like a big story on the news. So I think it's crazy. Milwaukee's getting a little bit of a superstar reputation this weekend.
Yeah, that doesn't happen often in Wisconsin
No, not really.
all season, but
Yeah, that's true. We got what is it? GGJ says, "Yes sir, bro. I don't who's GGJ? I'm not in the live comments. You're going to have to expose yourself. I don't know who that is off the top of my head. Maybe I'm bugging, but if you're new here, dog, you should subscribe. But anyways, Steve, so having a hoop this year, how's hooping with the mask, man?
we actually, I mean, in practice it was poof. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie,
Yeah.
but games, if you're in, you don't have to wear a mask,
Oh,
which
that's
is
awesome.
which was awesome because earlier in the year you had to, but City of Milwaukee passed a new thing, so you're in the game, you didn't have to wear a mask.
That's nice, dude, because that's a thing. Like, I know I haven't really got to go in the gym and everything because I'm trying to stay, cautious and trying to do my part to stop everything. And I know like a lot of people are whatever. I know some people are really against masks and whatever. That's a different conversation. But just in the fact, I've been seeing a lot of high school. The tournaments have been on TV recently, and like the state tournaments and whatnot, and seeing all those kids in masks and whatnot. It's not like it's impossible to play in, but it just looks a little annoying. I'm not gonna lie.
It just, especially when you get super sweaty,
Mhm.
it is incredibly uncomfortable.
Dude, I can definitely attest to that because I've been doing quite a bit. No, I shouldn't say quite a bit. I was doing a whole lot more towards the beginning of the year, but doing a little less now. But I was doing a lot of boxing, and I was doing that with a mask on in the gym, and that shit, my whole face just feels disgusting after I take my
Oh
mask
yeah.
off. Especially when you got the headgear on, man. It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
How long did you box for?
I've been doing it like on and off for since the beginning of this year, and I was doing it like 3 to 4 days a week the first couple weeks I went, and then I slowly been just doing it. I just haven't gone out there as much lately. It's been like 3 times and 2 times, and I skip a week, then I come for a couple of times, and it's like a 45-minute drive, so it's just a little tough to get out there every
Do
so
you,
often.
do you see yourself picking this up in the summer?
Maybe I want to get back to hooping is what I want to get into the gym. I just don't have a gym right now, so that's what I kind of was resorting to boxing. But I like it. It's a lot of fun. And there's money in it, man, for YouTubers, so who knows? Maybe one day things take off. I could make some money.
When you hit 1,000 subs, you gotta fight somebody.
We should, man. I should fight someone else at 1,000 subs. Swap. There we go. We could
That's an
swap.
idea.
Yeah, we could
That's an
swap
idea.
swap audiences right there. So we were talking off air, and you mentioned it earlier when you were deciding on what school you were going to go to, but you're going to school for engineering, correct? And what kind of
Yeah.
engineering specifically?
Architectural engineering, and then a little bit of construction management.
Very, very cool. Very cool. What inspired you to go down that path? Like what was like the reasoning? Because I know, and I've talked about this at length on this show, that I was originally down a similar path. I was going to do a lot of engineering stuff. I took a lot of dual credit courses and tech ed stuff during high school, and then as I like was getting to college, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go left real quick and do business. I don't really know what happened. My heart just wasn't in it, I guess. But it is an interesting field, and I was wondering what your story is.
I like working outside. My pops at a young age when I was about 12 or so told me to get out of the house and start working. So I got used to and got comfortable with working outside. And I've always had an inclination for math and problem solving and just logistical things like that. And I don't know, you combine the two, and that's what you get from construction.
That's cool. So what's like, if what would be like the dream, like perfect world for Steve then on the job site? Would it be like managing like a huge industrial building being built, or would you want to be more residential?
Ideally, I would like to go huge, industrial commercial properties.
Building giant skyscrapers and whatnot.
I mean, not even that, but like, I know people who are on the job site for building Fires for Forum, the Chase Center that's over in San Francisco for the Warriors, that kind of thing. Stadiums would be ultra cool to build.
Oh yeah, those are fantastic. Those are just like incredibly intricate, and just like there's just fascinating designs from what I've seen.
Aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, most definitely. That's cool, man. What like so you said from a pretty young age, your dad kind of told you to get out of the house and start working, and that's what kind of drove you to this point?
Yeah. He, put a rake in my hands, told me to rake when I had to rake, and 6 years of working for Dillard Street Care, and that led me to being comfortable working outside. I would hate to stay in a little office, in a room like I am now for 8 hours a day and be on a computer constantly.
I get that. Do you love the farmer's tan that comes with working outside as well?
Okay, so I kind of wore a wife beater the past
Oh,
couple, so I get a super bad wife beater tan.
I was gonna say that's gotta look interesting.
Ugly. It's so ugly.
Oh man, that is wild. How hard is the schooling for engineering and whatnot? McKenna Stanek asks. How hard is it there at MSOE?
Once you get past all your prereqs, so like all doing all your calcs, doing all your physics and that kind of thing, it gets better.
Hmm.
It gets easier to do because that's, when you take your later down track classes, that's what you want to do.
Yeah,
Evidently, you're more invested in that class, making it a little easier for you.
that makes sense. I hear that a lot with I know I've experienced that myself a little bit too with what I'm doing is like, everybody's got to you got to take your math classes, you got to take your specific, your chem and whatever, or physics, whatever it is, depending on what you want to major in. And then once you get to those closer to those capstone courses and whatnot, it starts like being like, oh shit, this is like what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
That's pretty
exactly.
sick.
Yeah, you take it a little more seriously and whatnot.
I know too. I got a friend that I think I had a is I think he went to MSOE. McKenna and I have a friend that went to MSOE, and I think I remember him saying that a lot of the intro like level classes they try and weed a lot of people out as well for like careers like engineering and whatnot, because
Yeah,
you don't
100%.
you don't want people that we had in our engineering classrooms in high school. We had like signs that would say like people that cheat in engineering class now or in tech ed now kill people later and stuff like that. Like you really don't want people that are going to take it as a joke to be progressing in the program.
100%, man. Like, I mean, online it's way easier to cheat.
Hmm.
Like when you're in person and you have a test right in front of you, you have no option. If
Yeah.
you don't, then you're not going to know it later.
Yeah, it's crazy too, and I don't know how it is when you get to obviously like the college level that you have with engineering and whatnot at MSOE. But I know there was a lot of different formulas for depending on the type of engineering we would do in school and whatnot. And so I don't know, do they make you guys like memorize a lot of things, or is it more so like being able to apply it and like here's a formula sheet?
It's more so apply it because I mean, on the job site, you're not gonna have to memorize a specific formula.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a program that does it for you, or you're gonna have a reference you can look at. And so, I mean, being able to apply the material that you know is far greater than memorization.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I that's something I really appreciated about the tech ed like classes in general. And I gotta say, just using like CAD softwares and stuff like that is so fun.
It's sick.
What's your favorite of the CAD softwares you've gotten to work in?
This past winter term or fall term actually, we had this class called Building Information Models. I had to build shit
Okay.
essentially, but we use Revit program
Okay.
for were all interior designs, all structural designs and whatnot. So that was definitely fun to get to know how to use, and super applicable because every construction company in the country uses Revit.
Yeah.
So it's learning something useful that's actually pretty entertaining.
Yeah, and so for our listeners that don't know what Revit and CAD are, when we're talking about these things, we used Revit, I believe, in high school as well. And these are softwares that basically let you, depending on the software specifically, they'll let you either make construction drawings, make actual building models, like where you can build three-dimensional and graphic models and whatnot. You can print out all these things in official documents and it's really cool. I'm dumbing it down tremendously, and I've been out of it for a long time, but we had a similar class to the one you're talking of, Steve, where we ended up we got to design our dream home. It was a 1 semester class, and it was design your dream home in Revit, and it was pretty sick. Like, people were putting like these ridiculous like underground like garage facilities with like Escalades and Ferraris and whatnot, and just like breaking the school computers when they're trying to render it, like type of buildings. Yeah. So it was pretty sick. What do we got? Is this what? Oh, we got someone asked, is this what Chip and Joanna use? Do you watch Chip and Joanna at all over on HGTV?
No, I haven't gotten to it at all.
Dude, oh my goodness. Chip and Joanna, Fixer Upper. It's like the HGTV, especially if you're going into engineering, dude, it's a trip, man. They do some crazy interior and exterior design. It's really cool. It's stupid, like old people watch HGTV and you think it's really dumb until you watch an episode of something and you're like, oh my God, that's a really nice house. And then you want to know how they build it.
Yeah. Similar show. It's called Epic Homes.
Okay,
and
yeah.
That's what my mom and I used to watch when I was younger. And it was just taking people tours on ridiculously fancy and structurally advanced homes.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love that like Architectural Digest and whatnot too that they do over on YouTube now. It's just super cool to see houses like that. But I want to get back a little bit to the D3 athlete stuff. We were talking off air, and I wanted to ask you this as when we got here. Do you think D3 athletes get a good rep or a bad reputation when it comes to like sports and whatnot?
It depends who you ask. If you ask anybody who's, really good at basketball, D1 athletes, even semi-pro guys, they'll look at you, oh, you're D3. And a lot of the times when I'm playing against guys who played overseas, because, you do that at the Chains or in Rockford or wherever I do runs at, they'll look at me, oh, he's D3, until I play. Mm-hmm. And, if you play D3, you have to earn some respect.
Yeah.
And it's more of a struggle to earn that respect if you're a D3 athlete rather than your D1 athlete.
Yeah, man, I definitely agree with that when it's like in the eyes of the basketball community. I guess it's a lot of people, unless you're in that league, they don't really understand a lot of the that the competition level is still there. Like it's still very much. Don't get me wrong. There's reasons there's levels, there's reasons there's divisions. There are guys that really show you why, but then there's a lot of guys that I think could be interchanged between certain levels, and it really just depends on what kind of exposure you got and whatnot.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people that go to a D1 that are similar to me. Mm-hmm. They go to a D1 program, but they just don't play.
Yeah.
So yeah, D1, but did you play? I mean, I could have gone to a D2 program and sat the bench for 4 years.
Yeah.
Gone to a D1 program, sat the bench for 4 years. But I really wanted to play. That's why it's a huge reason why I came down. So it's like, all right, I can play here and get minutes.
Yeah, that's a big deal too that I don't think a lot of people realize. There was this I don't know if it was a podcast or if it was just a post I saw on Instagram a couple weeks ago, and it was like this guy explaining how he was so sick of this D1 or bust mentality. Where people like just think like they have to go D1 or that's it. Like I'll never be anything in this sport and whatnot. And I really think that couldn't be further from the truth, because there have been a lot of guys who went to very small schools and still made the league in both football and basketball, baseball too. And I think like people forget that there's a lot of different avenues to get there. I mean, dude, LaMelo Ball didn't play college ball. granted, he's insane. He's very good. I didn't think he was
Yeah,
that. I didn't think he was as great as he's turned out to be honest with you, until
I don't think
recently.
anybody did.
Especially with all the shit with
He
with
was
his
good.
dad and his brother stealing all that shit, and then him having to go play overseas. I was like, oh, I don't know. I thought the same way everybody else thought, and then here he is
Hmm.
doing balling like his fucking like it's going out of style.
That he's younger than both of us.
It is weird. It hurts a little
Yeah,
bit. It hurts a
I'm
little
older
bit.
than him by like 100 days.
Oh shit. See, well, yours
Yeah,
is a little bit. Wow, yours is a little bit closer to home. Then you're right there.
yeah.
That's where you got
It's
to
like
be at,
wow.
Steve. You got to get on his level.
Yeah, totally. Wish I was 6'8".
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. So when it comes to D3, when people that aren't playing basketball though, because this is kind of more so what I wanted to get to. Um, I wonder how you feel people perceive it when you tell people that don't play basketball at all, either like, maybe it's like your friends, or your parents' friends, or your friends, or anybody who's not really invested in the sport as much. Or obviously if they're not like an active athlete, how do people perceive you, as a D3 athlete, as opposed to like, oh, I play at Duke or Madison or all the like some big school like that?
Just, I think they just don't understand. So like if I were to say to someone that doesn't play basketball that I know, oh yeah, I play at Duke, but they've already heard Duke, so they, you know what I'm saying. But I play at MSU, they go, oh, you know what I'm saying.
Hmm.
It is like what level you play at. They don't know, they're not gonna know.
Yeah. I think the thing that we were talking about off air is, that a lot of people don't understand that when you're in these lower levels of college basketball, that you're still having to do the same kind of things that these other athletes are having to do, but you're a lot less pampered, as was the word I was using before we went live. Where,
Hmm.
and not to say that these people are soft by any means. A lot of these dudes deserve to be exactly where they are, men and women, at D1 and D2 and D3. But when you're at these lower levels, sometimes you get you end up having to take on a lot of extra responsibilities and deal with, some things that and conditions that a lot of these other athletes just don't have to do.
Yeah, we talked about this off air. You know, I still have to maintain that academic excellence. You basically ran your team.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is too, I don't know in your guys' case. I mean, MSOE is a much bigger school than where I was, but where we were at, we didn't have we didn't have an updated facility at any updated facilities, by the way. We didn't have, it was a struggle to get like tape to tape our fucking wrists and whatnot. I remember we had this ice tub that didn't work. Like they wouldn't let us use this ice tub for like the first year I was there. And to get ice was a fucking pain in the ass. We didn't have bags for ice. We didn't have like just like stupid little things like that. Or like we don't even have, we would get jersey, or we would show up to a game. This actually happened. We showed up to a home game, and the other team showed up wearing the same color as us, and they made us go home and get our other jerseys to then come and play. That shit doesn't happen at a bigger school, you know?
That's insane.
Yeah.
It's like some AAU shit right there.
Yeah. It's like it's really like people don't understand that like there is a lot more, I like the levels thing like comes with a lot. I think there is definitely a competition, like a competitive level increase, but just I think the funding and the resources is like the biggest increase that I
Yeah,
see, at least from an outside perspective, as someone who played at a lower level.
yeah. And I think this can be applied to almost everything in life. You know, it's the saying, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. You know, I'm a D3 athlete. I have a quarter of the resources that somebody at Marquette would have.
Hmm.
So evidently, they're gonna progress at a much more rapid rate than I am.
Yeah, I mean, just like when you don't have to worry about those kind of things, then like you get to focus on the game. You get to focus on the
Yeah.
things you're there for, which I think is extremely important. And we were talking too, off air about, Devonte Friga kind of giving people D3 athletes, us littler guys, a little bit of a spotlight. Showing people that there are a lot of D3 hoopers out here who are really about it. Can really hoop. I mean, do you watch his stuff?
Yeah, I watch a good bit of his content. I mean, during quarantine, that's when he kind of blew up, and it was so entertaining to watch like someone like me, who's super similar to me and you, kill it, and
Yeah.
ball out against dudes that are play at better schools than him and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Just it gives a sense of hope
Yeah.
to the three guys. That's like, all right, I can make it somewhere if I really work at it.
Yeah, and I think it's incredible too. Like as an entrepreneur, like what he's doing. Like, dude, he is fucking playing basketball for a living, and he is not in the NBA, not on a semi-pro team, not in a G League, not in a European. Like this man is going around the United States,
The
bust,
parks.
yeah, busting the fuck out of people, and then just capturing these viral moments of him destroying somebody or it. It's incredible. He sold his own fucking jersey, dude. That's insane. That's so cool to me.
Yeah, I it doesn't happen, and it wouldn't happen if it wasn't for COVID or YouTube.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's a super circumstantial thing.
I do think he's got a consistent work ethic where I think he would have been able to still kind of get to where he is without COVID specifically. But I get what you're saying where I think the everything kind of worked out perfectly. Like it all like just hit this point where it was like it can't not work.
Yeah,
And I think that's really cool. What is Big Ty says I would like to thank myself for creating Steve.
I get reminded frequently that I am that he gets the credit for me.
He gets the credit.
I see him.
So how did he create you? Did he create this version of Steve? Did he birth you literally? Did he just turn you into the man you are?
Literally, straight from the womb.
Holy cow. He's your dad.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Well, I'm shout out to Big Ty, Steve's dad. Crazy. What are there any other basketball like influencers, hoopers that you're interested in that you partake in their content?
Larry Bird. Larry Bird's the fucking GOAT. Larry Bird is the greatest basketball player of all time.
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird. He's an unathletic white guy from a farm that busts everybody ass. He kills everybody.
He did. I mean, I was thinking more along the lines of content creation, but that's hilarious that you thought Larry Bird's your favorite player.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. You got to watch. There's this the Nick Kroll show. Is an old clip. It's on YouTube, but it's like the legend of Larry Bird, and it's Nick Kroll.
Yeah, where he has a shootout in like an abandoned gym.
Yeah, and his back is
Passing the fundamentals. Yeah.
yeah, his back's like snapping every time he fucking throws a shot up.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, no, Larry Bird. So was Larry Bird always been your favorite, or anybody else?
From the beginning.
Wow.
From the beginning.
What any guys like in the league now that you that like inspire you to continue playing?
I know this. There's really two that I really like watching. Luke Kennard, when he was at Duke, was phenomenal. He was 6'5" dude, not very athletic, but he somehow averaged 22 a game in the ACC.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really hard to do that if you're not good at basketball.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, and that and Devin Booker. Devin Booker's just a bucket.
Yeah, he's a killer, man. He's a killer. Guys like that are crazy. What do you think is the biggest misconception that people have with when it comes to D3 athletes?
We can hoop too, dog. We can hoop too. So some of us can get up a little bit.
Yeah.
We can't on the free throw line, but we can get up a little bit.
Okay, so you think people underestimate you?
I mean, I don't know. I think the difference between D1 and D2 isn't that great, and the difference between D2 and D3 isn't that great. It's just athleticism.
Yeah.
Like D1 guy, way more athletic than me, but I'm pretty sure I can shoot it with him,
Yeah.
and a lot of guys can shoot it with him. So there's,
Yeah, you can't teach height, you can't teach athleticism. Those are the things that a lot of recruiters are looking for.
yeah. And are they a better basketball player than me? Of course.
Mm-hmm.
But you're 6'8" and can dunk from the free throw line, and I can rim grace.
Well, dude, look at Joel Embiid didn't start playing basketball till like 3 years before he got into the NBA. Like he didn't start playing basketball.
Yeah.
And
And
fucking like, I mean, look at Giannis, bro. Like Giannis just was like this huge thing, and then we're gonna teach him how to play basketball after, like, and he's fantastic. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong, but it's like you can't teach that. It's like let's get guys like that first, and then teach them how to do stuff. I don't give a fuck if this 5'10" little white dude can shoot out of his fucking mind. He's not getting any bigger, and
no,
his shot's already that good. This guy has a way more potential, and that's just the truth. You know,
yeah,
that's how a lot of guys look at it, which is fair. I guess that's fair. I wanted to say, I wanted to ask you this, Steve. This is a little bit more of a silly question, but if you were gonna write a book about the life of Steve to this point, what would you title it?
oh, shit. Sitting on a limb.
Sitting on a limb.
Sitting on a limb with Steve Dillard. It's gonna be my autobiography.
I like that. What can I expect from a book like that?
A lot of positive ideals and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of ideals that I carry
What
in my daily life.
what are some of those? What's one of those that a little nugget I could get right now?
Uh, I think the biggest thing, and I have this private story where I do TED Talks. I haven't posted in a while, but I used to post all the time. And a lot of the things I would post would be like just giving more effort to other people. And
Okay.
that's the thing. That would be like communication, conversation, doing a favor for somebody without asking for anything in return. And those types of things lead to better relationships. They lead to, they can lead to getting you a better promotion at work. They
Hmm.
can lead to another opportunity that somebody else wouldn't. So that would probably be like the main thesis of my book.
Do you believe in karma then?
I mean, in a sense, I mean, I believe in you get what you put in.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that's interesting what you said. Giving without wanting to receive anything back, and the good that can bring. So I think that's definitely true. By putting in, and I think to add on to that, man, I think just giving everything you have to people and to situations, like for instance, like this conversation, like I want to give you 100% of me is here right now, right? If I'm on a date with my girlfriend, I should be giving her 100% of my being, my attention should be there in that moment. And that's something I've been trying to work on personally, is just being present more, because
Yeah,
I think we all get caught up in, like, I know myself personally gets caught up in the next thing, in like the thing I have to do next, because I'm not
yeah,
where I want to be specifically yet in this field or this field. And you got school and all these assignments coming up and work, and we always get caught up in, like, okay, the next thing I have to do, the next thing. And I think
yeah,
we rob ourselves of a lot of the current blessings that we have.
yeah. One thing that is kind of relevant to what you said, Coach K once said, "Pursue moments." And that can be applied to what I just said, what you just said, getting caught up in the next thing and whatnot. Just pursue moments. Pursue the moment that's here. Pursue the moment that's now. Like this conversation right here.
Yeah.
Super productive,
Yeah.
right? I'm not focused on, trying to get a lift in after this or the work I got to do tomorrow, or you're not focused on what you got to do tomorrow. It's just right here, right now. Pursuing the moment.
Yeah, I think I think, like, and I think the reason people should do that is because, like, if you don't, well, you're going to end up, like, looking back. You're going to look back on a period of time from your life and be like, wait, that happened? Like, wait, I
Yeah,
didn't even get to. And you might do some crazy things. You might have done some bad things during that time. But either way, like, if you just fast forward it, it's almost like that Click movie where it's like you just skipped all of it. You didn't get to live at
yeah,
all.
exactly.
You were on autopilot.
And, that leads to a life of emptiness and regret, and we don't want that.
No, we don't want that, Steve. That's absolutely right. We do not want that. Now what's the dream, man? If what's Steve's dream right now?
Playing overseas.
Playing overseas.
That'd be sick. I want to go see the world anyway, and if I get to get paid to play basketball, doing it, even if it's not a lot, even if it's an incredibly minimal contract that I have to live in a box for. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Play in Italy, live in a box, and play basketball every day. Be happy with that.
Dude, you can't beat that, man. You really can't. I mean, that's fantastic, man. I think you absolutely should, because I think, like you even mentioned, you don't care how much, as long as you can survive.
Yeah,
It's not about the money. It's doing what you want to
that's the
do,
game.
and if you want to see the world anyways, there's no real better way to combine those two things together.
Exactly. You'll
That's
see whole culture, meet so many new people. There's not a whole lot to be lost from that.
Yeah, dude, and I think and like it might sound silly for me to say this, but I feel like too, we only have so long to you can play basketball for a long time, but like competitively at like a high level, we only have, this window, this little window.
Hmm.
And and I think you should absolutely try and get the most out of that if you can. If it's going to bring
Yeah,
you opportunities like that, why not? You can always come back and get a job whenever, or even get a job over there. It doesn't matter. But there's only so long you'll be able to do that.
the ball's gonna stop bouncing eventually. I mean, you're not gonna play basketball forever, so like, why not play it for as long as you want to play it for?
Yeah, that's cool. Do you have any? So where specifically would you be interested in playing?
I don't care.
Okay.
As long as it's the city. If I'm in the city and it's getting bombed, probably not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really open to going playing anywhere really.
Would have you kind of already been looking at all, like shopping around?
Not really, because I am only a sophomore.
Makes sense.
Need to do a lot before I be able to, get an agent and get signed to a team or whatnot.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm always
So,
curious about that because I was like, I had exchanged some emails with some people from like a team or two over there, and it's just an interesting process, especially when you don't have an agent or anything. It's kind of like it's the same
yeah,
thing like when I'm doing music stuff and I'm like trying to look for different promotional avenues, and there's a lot of sketchy people in that area.
of course.
So I would definitely be worth the investment of having an agent to sort through that kind of stuff.
And then you could be my agent.
Oh
We
man.
were and Hoopers.
Oh man, that would be cool, man. That would be sweet, dude. I'd love to get back in the gym too and start training and everything because it definitely eats at you every day that you're not doing it. Um, what what else makes Steve Dillard move? What else other than basketball, other than pursuing engineering and dealing with, I'm sure, a lot of schooling? What gets you out of bed? What's something fun that you like to do?
Something fun I like to do. I really like to do anything. I'm really up for anything. You tell me that we're gonna go play baseball. I don't have a glove. We're still gonna go play baseball.
Gotcha.
Just like being with people, really.
Oh,
If anything, people at all, I'm immediately interested.
I got. So is it like you prefer like being active and doing stuff like that, or is it just anything where you can kind of just get to socialize?
Pretty much anything I get to socialize. With it being 60 degrees and sunny, I would prefer to go outside.
Hmm.
Like, if you want to stay inside and play a board game, let's play some freaking Yahtzee.
That's fair. I like that. I like that attitude. I like that. Um, so I want to real quick. I thought this is kind of interesting. I don't know how if obviously you're a fan of the channel and whatnot, and so you've been supportive of my creative endeavors, and I just wanted to shout this out real quick. This is my friend Ben, who I met when I was on the set of Chicago Fire. Actually, he released this movie, this short film. I can't remember if it might have been a feature. Several months back, maybe like 9 months back, called Ghost Box, and he just got distribution on Amazon Prime. So it's like this horror film, I believe. So if you get some time, or maybe you get some people, since you enjoy being with people, get some people to sit down with you and maybe hang out and watch Ghost Box. And that's for everybody listening. He's not paying me to say that or anything. I just thought that was really cool that he just sent me the message yesterday that he got
On
distribution.
Amazon Prime. That's so sick.
That's like when I had my first songs in Spotify and shit. I was like, holy shit, You know, like that's insane. You're
Mhm.
distributed. That's really cool. Um, I also want to say, man, I am like beyond appreciative of the support that you and your brother and more people from the Beloit area that I've been coming to meet through Big Tie and whatnot have been towards the channel. You guys have been so supportive of myself and the music and the podcast and everything, and I really am appreciative of that.
Of course, man. It's not every day you find somebody that's dedicated to what they do, and I'm drawn to work and people who have a strong work ethic and have some freaking fire under their balls and want to get after it. So it is awesome to see somebody that I know that is a really good friend of mine do that sort of thing. So I have no reason not to.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that you saying that. It really does mean a lot, and um, it's something that I take a lot of pride in, especially when I get to have somebody like you on a show after talking about it for so long. You know, like after you'll send me messages, oh, that was a good episode, or whatever. It's just cool to finally get to sit down and talk with you. So I really do appreciate that. I'm happy we got to have you on. I also want to ask you, are you working outside of school and whatnot?
I work for the school. I mean, I have an on-campus job.
Oh, cool.
Just take stats of all the other games and stuff. So I'll go to the volleyball, soccer, hockey games and stuff
Oh, that's nice.
for that.
That's cool. I did a similar, not that for my school, but I also worked for my school as a I was an open gym supervisor.
That's sick.
Yeah, so it was literally I got a key and got to open up the gym. And we went to a very small school, so like no one used it. I just got to go to the gym every day by myself and work out.
And get paid to do so.
And get paid to do so. It was craziness, man. Absolutely craziness. So would you ever have you heard of this crew league that's been going on over on YouTube? It's this basketball league where rappers and their crews compete for $100,000 in a basketball tournament.
You can get Big Tie in that, and then you guys are rappers, are you not? You guys are artists.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Grab some hoopers. We're part of your crew.
Exactly. That's I've been thinking about how we would put together a team. I just watched. They just wrapped up with the finals. Just ended yesterday, but they're gonna probably do it again next season. And I gotta say, it's a very interesting concept. A lot of these rappers ended up going and recruiting like actual like college athletes and ex NBA players and shit to play on their teams who weren't actually in their crews, and people were getting kind of mad about it.
I mean, we're not breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot. Get in the gym for a couple months.
Oh, dude.
And
I don't think it would be fair. We would have a bunch of dudes that I'm actually cool with and like I'm actually friends with, and we all actually played college ball. I got a bunch of homies that played college ball.
get a bunch of shooters.
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't many shooters in that league, I will say that.
We're already at an advantage.
We're already one step ahead. Steve, I want to know, do you got any questions for me, man? We're about 45 minutes in, and I'm through about just about all my topics. I was wondering if you had any questions for me.
Yeah. What's probably like the biggest thing that you've taken away from? And we talked about this off air a little bit. What's the biggest thing you've taken away from this COVID year, 2020? What is the biggest takeaway you've taken from 2020?
Man, well, it definitely feels like a leap year, man. Like we're in March now, and it feels like we never really left March in a way.
Yeah.
And I will say, I think I don't want to diminish all the terrible things that COVID has done. It has really, and it really did. Honestly, it affected a lot of relationships that I had, and a lot of things that I was trying to do poorly. So that definitely hurt me a lot. But I think now that there's a path like potentially out of this and away from this, as the vaccine rollout is continuing and things look to hopefully be getting under control soon. It looks like there may have been a lot of silver linings in some things, not for everybody. Obviously, if somebody lost somebody, I'm not trying to sound like inconsiderate. That's, there's no silver lining in that.
Yeah, but for you personally,
Yeah, but for me, I went through some shit, and I'm through it now, and on the other side, like I got to meet you. We were talking about that. We met at a park, like at some point throughout this, because we're obviously not gonna we weren't playing in a gym, and like we were both back from school because of everything going on, and we would have never crossed paths had this not happened. I would never have worked with. I was working with a band to do a virtual show that ended up not happening, but I wouldn't have got to do all that. And there's a lot of things that wouldn't have really gotten to do. I wouldn't have gotten to spend a lot of time with family that maybe I otherwise wouldn't have, because of other things like work and school. And so for me personally, there's a little bit of a silver lining. It's still, I feel like now that I'm on the end of it, it's like I'm almost like it's like this trauma where I suppressed it and I don't remember all the terrible things as well,
Yeah.
because we're like sort of like over the hump, I feel like. But I don't know, maybe I'm probably just blanking right now. I don't know. How about you? How about yourself? What is something positive that you've taken away from the last year?
I think it was I think, and I heard, you listen to Gary Vee at all?
I love Gary Vee, man. Love Gary Vee.
Yeah. And Gary Vee talks about this a lot. He talks about personal development all the time. And quarantine, obviously, if you lost somebody, prayers out to you and your family.
Mm-hmm.
If you were sitting in your house with nothing to do, you could have figured your shit out. You figured your shit out. I could have figured all the shit that was going up in here. Figure yourself out, find out who you are, and make a plan to do what you want to do.
Yeah, it's crazy that you say that is, and Gary Vee is always on that. I love that about him. A lot of people, because of like having so much time on their hands, started pursuing things that they actually wanted to do because they had the time now,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's crazy.
I think that was probably the biggest thing you could have done in 2020 for anybody, any average person, is figure yourself out and pursue what you wanted to pursue.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And obviously like we both mentioned, people having to deal with obviously I'm very lucky that no one in my family was got the virus and had some serious, complication like that I couldn't imagine, and I'm sure that would have made it much more difficult to try and figure myself out or try and pursue other things. But I will say, for people that had time on their hands, I am happy that some people were able to try and make the best out of a bad situation. I think
Mm-hmm.
that gives me hope that other people were able to do that as well. I think what's crazy about it too is literally podcasting equipment was sold out everywhere at the beginning of COVID.
Really?
Yeah, you couldn't buy, and
Yeah.
I didn't need anything at the time because I already had stuff, but it was crazy. I was I'm in these groups and stuff on Facebook and all these podcasters are freaking out because they were ready to upgrade microphones or they were ready to do whatever, and everything is sold out because all these people were like, well, I'm going to be stuck at home for however long. I might as well start a podcast.
Might as well.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, COVID brought a lot of loss, but in the hindsight and the future of things for a lot of people, it was a good year.
Yeah, some people were able to make it a good year.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, man. Steve, what if there's one last thing you could tell the people of Detox, our viewers, our listeners over on Spotify, what would you want them to know? Maybe a piece of advice, a joke, anything.
Piece of advice, a joke, my face.
Oh,
Piece
man.
of make someone's day if you can. Make the little effort to make someone's day. So never if somebody looks at you, just say hi to them. Because if someone's having a bad day and you go over and say hi to them out of the kindness of your heart, that can make somebody's day.
Yeah, I dig that, man. That's cool. I like that. That's a great perspective to have towards it. I think you're absolutely right. I want to thank Steve. I really want to say thank you, man, for all the support you've given me, and thank you for kicking it with me for an hour here on the show. I really appreciate having you on. I want to say thank you to our patrons. They should be up on the screen right now, for supporting the channel. Every week we post new exclusive content over on Patreon. That is usually right now. It's all been behind the scenes footage of exactly how I make the songs that I end up releasing. And if anybody is interested in becoming a patron, just go to patreon.com/Darren Rita, and you can do so for, you can support the channel for as little as $1 a month. Also, thank you to Kenosha Auto Insurance for sponsoring this episode. And lastly, thank you one last time to Steve for being out here, and thank you to everybody who watched. It's fun. I love doing this. We're 88 episodes deep. It's incredible that we're this far. Hopefully, if things are looking better, in 14 weeks we'll be 104. Wait, no, 16 weeks. 16 weeks will be 104. Maybe things will be looking better, and we can do a cool celebration for 2 years of the show and get everybody that was on for this year at some sort of function. But who knows? Again, I just appreciate you being here, man.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, dog. That's it for us here at Detox, guys. I will see you guys next week. Peace.